Hello everyone. In this video, I'll show you how to manage the operating hours and holiday schedule of Amazon Connect Contact Center with the help of Google Calendar API and AWS Lambda. Not only that, we will also see how you can easily make changes to the holiday schedule and extend your contact center's opening hours if you have requirement or any without any administrator or engineer involvement. Only just supervisor can just drag the opening hours or reduce the opening hours by the Google Calendar itself. So one of the biggest challenge in managing the holiday schedule is involvement of administrators or engineers every time a change needs to be made. For an example, if there's any requirement to extend the hours, or if the new year is starting and you have to change the holiday schedule of those year, so you are probably at the back end supervisors or contact center managers needs to raise a request to IT or your vendors, someone, for them to change it. Okay. In Cisco UCCX 12.5, they introduced calendar and holiday schedule in the holiday schedule where supervisor can change it. In Amazon Connect also, they we can you can do the operation hours. You can supervisor can change the operation hours, but holiday schedule you have to configure it manually. I mean, every year you have to change it by raising a request to IT or vendors. Okay. So in this with this setup that what we are going to do today, uh, supervisor itself can manage the holiday schedule and operation hours of the contact center. So with the help of the Google Calendar API, we can empower supervisors or end users who can access to the calendar to make changes to the holiday schedule on their own. The first thing we need to do is to set up the Google Calendar API and create a Google Calendar and AWS Lambda. I assume that you already have an AWS account and Google Cloud account and have access to the Google Calendar. I mean a Gmail Google account as well. And in this video, and I'll guide you through the process of creating a Google Calendar, enabling a Google Calendar API, and setting up the Lambda function that will call the Google Calendar API to update the opening hours and holiday schedule of your Amazon Connect contact center. Also, I will show you how to create a holiday event on Google Calendar and how the event will be automatically update the holiday schedule of your Amazon Connect contact center without an administrator or engineer involvement. There are some other real world benefits of this implementation. Let's assume that in my in when I used to handle many customer contact center customers. With the customers, if the holiday falls on the weekend, the following Monday the contact center will be closed, or maybe it's working on off days. So you have to manually do the configuration every year, because the holidays never falls on the same day on the every year, maybe like. So let's say if new year it falls on Saturday, and probably the Monday will be a holiday for some contact centers. In that the case, uh, for those holiday schedule everything, you, I mean so contact center managers or supervisors has to manually raise a request, and you the IT, system administrators, or a contact center expert, or maybe a vendors has to involvement is required to do some changes. So without those changes, you can a supervisor itself can do the changes on their end easily without any engineers or system administrators involvement. And also, let's assume that there is there could be some marketing campaign is going on in your organization, and your higher management would required to increase the working hours of the contact center. So once again, it's a easy part that just just I mean, for an example, I'll show you an example here. Let's say, like, you are working from uh, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. The contact center is open between 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. And on the specific day you have launched a marketing campaign or something, and you want to increase the um, contact center time. I mean, you have to drag it to whatever the time you required to I mean you have to increase the working hours to get more leads or more sales for the organization. Just you have to drag and drop, it automatically the data will be pulled from Lambda API will be whenever the call comes in, it invoke the Lambda from the AWS end, and we'll find out if the contact center is open or closed. If there's an event on the Google Calendar API. Okay, so we'll directly go get into the configuration. I'm going to delete this event. So I have already created one, but for this tutorial I'll create one more calendar. I'm going to create a new calendar. I'm going to save it as Amazon. Maybe I'll put it as AWS cal. If the holiday operation hours and holiday deal, and I'm creating the calendar. Okay, this calendar has been successfully created. I believe that you already have a Google Cloud account for you to perform this change. I mean, for this to create a calendar, you don't need a Google Cloud, but to enable the API, you definitely need a Google Calendar API, Google Cloud access. So I'll go to the Google Cloud. So once you get into the Google Cloud console, I'm gonna create a new project. Yeah, so I just leave it as it is, since it's for test purposes. So on your right top corner, you can see the project is been created. Okay, this the project has been created. So the project that I have created is 15174. Okay, I'm gonna select that product. On this hamburger icon, I'm gonna click this hamburger icon and go to the API services and library. API services, APIs and services, and I'm gonna click on library. Here I'm gonna search for calendar. You have this Google Calendar API. I'm gonna enable this. Okay, I have enabled the API Google Calendar, and I'm gonna go to the library. Not the library. I'm sorry. Um, I'm gonna go to the credentials here. Okay, I have to create a new credentials. So this is the credentials that we are gonna access from it. So there are three types of credentials available. One is API key, one is OAuth client ID, and the service account. So here I'm going to use the service account because we are communicating from the server to server, that which means app level authentication. Like, because we are going to use the Lambda to call this API. So OAuth client ID, what will it will give a authentication page to you for you to input the username password, and we click on yes. So that's why the service account is like, service account is it enables the server to server access. Click on the service account. I'll put the service account as AWS calendar. Okay, and I'm gonna leave the description as it is. If you would like to put some description, you can do that. Create and continue. I'm gonna select the role. Actually, you can go to the basic. The viewer is most enough for this, but I'm gonna select owner for no reason. But its viewer role is more than enough. I'm gonna select owner and click on continue. Okay, so gonna leave it as it is and click on done. Okay, once the service account is being created, I'm gonna click on the service account. I'm gonna see everything is okay here. Then I'm gonna go to the API and services, um, and I'm gonna go to the credentials. Okay. Okay, once the service account has been created, um, so I'm gonna, next step what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna uh, go to the I am admin, and I'm gonna search for the service account. Click on the service account, and you have the service account. Uh, Again, you under this action, you click on that, and now you have to create keys for that. So I'm gonna create a now you have to click on manage keys, and I have to create a key. I'm gonna create a new key, and it's gonna be a JSON format and create. Once key is being created, it automatically download a file which contains the key. Here, this file is very important. Later this video we will use this for Python programming to authenticate the service account to the user to access the Google Calendar API. So this is actually after this video. I'm going to delete this service account. So I'm showing you all, no problem with that. Okay, so once the service account has been created, what you have to do is um, have to go and check for the user. Once again, I'm going to go to this API and services and credentials, and I'm going to open this service account. This email is very important. I'm going to copy this and save it under another notepad file. Okay, so this Gmail email account and your service account details. I'm going to copy my service account username as well. Okay, so that's okay. You have that's all actually from the Google Cloud side. Google Cloud. Now you have to go to the calendar and go back to the calendar. It's AWS Cal. I'm gonna go to the settings and I'm gonna click on it, and I'm gonna go to the settings and sharing. On the settings and sharing, I'm gonna add people under share with specific people or groups. I'm gonna add people here. So I'm gonna add people and groups. Click on people and groups. I'm gonna copy the email account that I have created, and I'm gonna paste it here. And permission, actually see all event details is more than enough. But I'm gonna, for the moment, I'm gonna make it as make changes to events and click on send. Okay, that those are the only configuration that you require from Google Calendar and Google Cloud. Okay, so rest everything would be under the Lambda. Okay, so I'm actually using the Python programming here for to get the calendar, if the to get the events that are configured on the calendar. So uh, so we already download that JSON file, right? So I have to upload that JSON file. I have to zip it that file and upload it to this file, so that so this is actually my JSON file for my calendar. Actually in my I'm really using this Amazon Connect new calendar as my calendar. So I actually I created AWS calendar as a test calendar. So I uploaded here. So this is the file that I'm gonna point for the authentications for the private key and all the information. I'm not an expert in Python, but I learned for this contact center development for this Amazon Connect, because Amazon Connect is an amazing contact center platform. You can, typically can, you can do anything on the contact center. With the development, with the development. Okay, so I'm importing all necessary libraries for my coding. Okay, defining the service account file. Uh, Service account file, I'm provided the path under this, and scope. Okay, so what is scope is, actually this is the scope for the Google Calendar API. The service account file is a path to the service account key JSON file that we downloaded from the Google Cloud, and scope for the Google Calendar API. So you can find, in this specific scenario, I'm using only the, I just viewing on the events in the Google Calendar. For that, I actually use the read only method there, but there are several other scopes are available. I will provide these links. I mean, if you want to, I'll provide this scope link under the description. You can see it below later if you want to refer anything. So there are other level of access as well. So for me, I'm actually only going to view the Google Calendar events. So in that the case, I'm only using the read only calendar dot read only format. So then that I don't require any other, just bear with me for a minute. Okay, so I'm just using this read only. So in this read only, what it actually view events on all calendars, and it has access like view events on all calendars, view calendars on the user's account, and find out free or busy information on any calendar. Okay, so I'm using this specific scope on my Python programming. So then, now we have to authenticate with the Google API with the service account credentials. So I'm using this. So now I'm authenticating with Google API using the service account details. Um, so, so this actually creates a credential object for the Google service account. I'm defining the calendar ID. So where you can find the calendar ID, that's another important thing that you need to find out. I'll go to the calendar, and I'll go to the calendar settings, settings and sharing, and go below, and you will find the calendar ID here. Okay, so this is the calendar ID. I'm not using this calendar in my code, so you have to note it down, this calendar ID as well. Okay, so I'm using the calendar ID. Now I'm defining the current time of current time zone, and okay, the event time locally, actually the time that this Lambda is going to be invoked. Okay, whenever the call comes into the contact center hotline, this Lambda will be invoked. So at that time, if the contact center is open, need to figure out if the contact center is open, which the hotline is open or not. So I'm defining the current time in current time zone. I'm just printing the time for my verification purpose, if that displaying the right time. um, so then we have this, I'm just converting the time to, uh, after this I actually converting that time to UTC time, for to query the Google Calendar API, because that actually works with the UTC only. Initially, I was trying to pass the current time zone itself, but it's actually responding with the UTC. It's there on the documentation as well. I will give you the documentation on the below link. So it will providing with the uh, UTC time. So I'm just converting the time again to the UTC, and I'm just defining the event query. So the calendar ID going to be the calendar ID that I'm using here, and the time minimum, that is the time that call came in. And just I'm just checking for the next 1 minute if there is any event. I mean, if let's assume, okay, I'll go to my calendar. Let's assume that, so the current time here is 1:30. Let's say, okay, test test 1 2 3. Okay, uh, let's assume that, okay, there is a event, the call, let's assume that the call is coming at 1:45. Okay, so but there's a event, so it will go and search. The event query will go and search from, I'm defining the event query time minimum and time maximum as, the time minimum would be the current time the call which is coming in. The time maximum would be 1 minute ahead. Okay, these what are the what are the event queries parameter for the event query parameters. Actually, you can find it out. We can find it out what are the parameters that we can pass for this event on the documentation itself. So event list, they have provided all the parameters that we could pass for uh, this request actually. Okay, um, so once I define the API request parameters, I'm gonna execute that. Uh, I'm gonna execute this API request to retrieve all the events that I'm configured on my calendar. So events events method is called on the service object to specify that we want to work with the event of the calendar. Um, Actually, the list method is on the is called on the events object to retrieve a list of events from the calendar. So event query is, what do you call, event query. Okay, so the event query is I mean, it's a, so the event query is the query that I've created on the previous step. So I'm passing over here and I'm trying to execute that code. If there are no events, I'm just printing that, for that's for printing. I'm actually doing it for verification purpose, and I'm just making as a boolean value as false. If there is any events, I'm just returning the boolean value as true. Okay, so this is my basic Python code that I have created for this holiday and operating hours request. So what then? Okay, so I'll test test for this lambda and see, okay, what is the event that is being configured. If what is returning, okay, so the working hours is actually returning false. Okay, so that means there's no any. Okay, so I'm actually created that this event on the AWS cal, but the real calendar that I'm using is um, Amazon Connect, new calendar. This is the calendar that I'm using. Okay, I'll create a test calendar. Let's say test AWS video. Okay, I'm gonna perform the test. It's actually very real time. Okay, I'm seeing that some working hours being there's some events during that time. Okay, so let's do some more tests. Do a delete. I'll delete that event and we'll check one more time. Okay, currently there is no any events during the time. Okay, go to the Amazon Connect now. I believe that you know to turn on a instance and configure to work on this contact flow. There is an option to configure. There is an option to configure all these routing profiles. I mean hours of operation here. Only you can configure the hours of operation, and you can define that on the contact flow as well. But in this case, I'm there, but there's no any way to handle the holiday schedule of your contact center. Okay, in that the case, what I am trying to do here is I'm creating. I mean, we can manage all this timing over here as well. Okay, um, we can create not a problem, but what really happens, like, if the Monday is holiday, okay, the Sunday is the let's say the contact center is closed on weekends and on public holidays. Okay, so let's say the public holiday fall on Sunday and the Monday is holiday, so the contact center will be open anyway on the Monday. Let's say if the public holiday falls on Monday, anyway we have to close the contact center on Monday. So with this using this Lambda function, it's going to be very easy, because we can a supervisor or like supervisor or contact center manager who has access to that Amazon Connect, Amazon who supervisor or manager who has access to that um, Amazon Connect, not Amazon, I'm sorry, I'm making a mistake here. uh, Supervisor or managers who has access to that Google Calendar uh, can do the changes, and uh, can close the contact center or open the contact center. So I'm not going to configure under the hours of operation. I'm going to go to the contact flow. Mm, I have already configured the okay, Google Calendar check version. So it's a very basic flow. I have a lot of play prompts here to find out where the errors is occurring. I'm just invoking the Lambda. Okay. Um, okay. So probably I believe you have to go to this contact flows and associate this Lambda function to the your Amazon Connect instance. Once it's been associated, you can you can find it out on your drop down list. And I'm just invoking the Lambda. I'm keeping all other parameters default. Okay, and okay, it's gonna return true or false. Okay, I didn't show you that I'm setting that attribute. Okay, so I'm creating a new attribute called working hours C, that's which is I defined it. So external from the external, Lambda is passing the working hours from here. Okay, so I'm actually I'm just setting working hours C to working hours, which is Boolean value. And it's basically if condition. I'm checking the contact attribute. If working hours C is equal to false, you close the contact center. If working hours is true, then make sure that you route to the agent. So that is my ultimate point. Okay, we'll do some test. Probably you would be able to hear this. Thank you for contacting our contact center. Our office is currently closed, but we are available to assist you during our regular business hours. Okay, so now there's no any events configured during this time. I'm gonna configure this event. Maybe I'm gonna put some test event, save. Okay, so now I'm gonna call back to the contact center again, my hotline again. Welcome to our contact center. We are here to provide you with the best customer service experience possible. Our dedicated team of professionals is committed to helping you with any question. Okay, so now the second time, once I configured uh, the event on Google Connect, it's saying it's open. Okay, so let's say if 28th Tuesday is a holiday, simply what you have to do is you have to create an event, and there's option to check on all day event. Mm, okay, so that's not possible. I'll delete this event. Okay, I'm creating a all day event here. Okay, so I'm created a all day event on 27th. Okay, let's check the contact center now if it's open or closed. It was open. Thank you for contacting our contact center. Our office is currently closed, but we are available to assist you during our regular business hours. So it's that's easy. Let's say okay, on the holiday you are closed. I'm gonna delete that too. You are open from. I mean, as per my current time, it's 2 a.m. You're open from maybe like 2 a.m. to 3 p.m. Okay, so you select that time, and you whatever the time you are not open, you can delete a event, and it's that simple. Okay, some other things, some challenges that I faced during this implementation is um, Google Google related libraries are not available on Amazon. For that, what I did is I would like to show you a link over here. So I actually got unable to import module error. So I'll provide this link to upload modules to the Amazon Connect as well. So I followed this link, and you have a very detailed video of this AWS video from AWS support, which is very convenient and easy one. So you can follow that, and you can upload the Google libraries on your Amazon on your Lambda. So typically, what you can do is they actually guide to they want to create a Cloud9 instance. So I created the cloud. I don't know if my Cloud9 that I've created I can open now. You have to create a Cloud9 instance, and you have to create a new folder and install Python 3.8 or 3.9, whatever the environment that you prefer. Once you install all the necessary libraries related to your API, related to your code, and you zip it, and once you zipped it, there's an option. um, Once you zipped it, you can publish the Lambda, the specific layer to the Lambda, using this code. Once it's been published, um, when you come to your Lambda, you would be able to add a layer over here. Okay, add a layer, create a custom layer, and whatever the layer you could select. I created several ones, and I got lots of issues, and I created several layers, and you can select the layer whatever the version you would require, and click on it. So those are the major issues that I faced during this implementation. So they also Amazon also prefer. Actually, I was practicing everything on the VS Code on my computer, but when I install I created the virtual environment and installed all the necessary Python libraries, but it didn't work as it expected, because there was some environment mismatch. So I was searching through the Google, and found out this option as a best option. I'll provide this article link on my description, so you can refer to that as well. Thank you for viewing my video. I hope this you find this informative.